So good evening, Joff. How are you?
Very well, Gary. Thanks for having us, mate. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you're welcome. I see you got sunshine. You're in St Albans, are you? Are you local to
No, Fiji.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, that's near St Albans. Yeah,
Yeah, oh, I see a little bit of sun here actually in Hemel.
that's all right. I think the I'm utilising at the moment for sure.
Yeah,
We'll see. Hopefully, it's not too mucky on the screen and stuff like that as far as
no,
light goes. All right,
it's all
we'll
good.
keep it for now.
I wish I had a bit of sunshine. I forgot to put my heating on in here in my garden room. So it's bloody freezing.
So
But
you're
if I
feeling
start shivering, you know why. Uh,
it.
so how's business for you, Joff? Are you keeping busy?
Yeah, good. I have two branches to what I do, so that's LifeWise Wellbeing as well as fine finishes, painting and spraying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is busy. So as far as I don't know, I'll answer your questions really, but yeah, busy, which is
Yeah.
nice. Good busy, you know. I try not to get too crazy busy, because we're always trying to work in order to get our free time. It's kind of weird, right? So kind of
Yeah.
spot that one a mile off and
It's
try and get a bit of free time in there
it's a
if you can.
balance, isn't it, which you've got to try and create. So you're painting and decorating. How long have you been going for?
Not long, 9 months.
Ah.
So brand new. Um, yeah, that's it. You ask the questions, I'll answer them, man. So yeah, 9 months.
So how did you do any bits and bobs before, or how did you get into it?
Yes. So yeah, many moons ago, landscape as far as physical stuff and on the tools and stuff like that. I was
Hmm.
in landscaping with my brother, like, but that was what, 20 plus, way more than that years ago, probably. Loved it, brilliant. We did that 6 years together, but it didn't have like any intellectual challenge for us at the time.
Hmm.
So just sort out other avenues and stuff like that. So then I got into youth work, and then that was 20 years of youth work, which then paved the way to LifeWise,
Hmm.
which I guess we can chat if you want to ask any questions on that. And then did my own project. Well, LifeWise is my own project. I was doing that within the youth work and community work that I was doing, and then went on my own in 2020, back end of 23. So let's call it 24. But I was doing work with a friend who was doing sort of more handyman side of things.
Hmm.
So I was just doing different bits and bobs with him. Just we
Yeah.
go a long way. And then he did a painting and decorating job, and I loved it. It was exactly what I needed at that time, and I
Hmm.
was really surprised that I liked it as much as I did. It just, I don't know. There's a few things that allowed for it to be so kind of pleasant. For me, is the environment, because I'm used to previously just crazy targets and people on your case all the time. You get that everywhere, I
Yeah.
know, but I'm talking about meetings, which you just don't get in like the paint decorating industry, and I do not miss that. I also don't miss the thousands of emails I'd get a day. Kid
Yeah.
you not, I don't know, about 60 emails a day, of which maybe half of those you'd chuck in the bin, a third of those you'd have to action, but that's on the daily. And it's like, well, how many of me do you think there are? And I know that's what people are experiencing everywhere. It was just so nice to not do that, but soak yourself into something that was creative, and a completely different tack. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Sorry, this is quite a long-winded answer
No,
there.
no,
Is that all
no.
right?
No, crack on.
And the money was pretty good. So, and it also helped sort of bolster up the funding with the LifeWise wellbeing stuff, because wellbeing's tricky. It's certainly not um, consistent. It's brilliant, but it's not consistent, and so it's not reliable. So there's two parts of me: that supportive side, and there's also the physical side. Which, if I could create that balance, which I now have, well, currently, then yeah, the way things go and the way you kind of I want to kind of take it, then it's happening at the moment. So that's where that's at. Oh yeah, sorry, just to finish this one, I stopped working with um that friend and the handyman side of things, and then joined Even Flow, that's a St Albans crew. And I've been working under Lee Burton at Even Flow, who's been in the like trade for ages. So
Yeah, I've heard of Lee.
good
Yeah.
guy. We go way back, like skating days and stuff like that. So there's a lot of love there, and he's got so much knowledge, and I'm a complete geek when it comes to start green and do the best you can in everything that you do. Don't presume you're anything.
Yeah.
Just dig in deep, see how you get on. Do you like it? And so yeah, did a spray course with Ian at Paint Tech. Loved that, and then got like the kit and caboodle, got like the extractor, the Merca set up. I got the sprayer, so a Tritech T5, and then that kicked off a whole another side of things, of which I was like, do you know what, love it. It's more of that's a specialism. And I've been so fortunate to have some of the jobs that I've been on already, so very grateful. So yes.
Do you work for Lee pretty much all the time? Because one of
Yeah,
my questions was going to be like, if you relatively new to the game, like I was just really curious to see if you were on your own, how amazing that would be, like in a short space of time. But I'd be interested to see from when you picked it up, end of 24. Is that right? No.
No, mid 25. In all honesty, 9 months.
Mid 25. What level you're at now? So, say for example, I said to you, Joff, right, do a job for me. It's a bedroom, feature wall. Can you go in and do it? Within that short space of time, what you've learned working with Lee and stuff, can you take jobs on yourself?
Yeah, I have done, which is
so that's pretty cool.
Now I've got to be really careful here, because this could be seen in different ways, right? So I'm one for you just do your best at everything you do. And you be authentic and honest about where you're at. So again, if you're green, then just be flipping green and work hard, and hopefully you're hanging with good people so you can learn off, right? So that's that. So learned a lot from Lee, but I've worked with a couple of other peoples as well. Then the spraying and it all, oh man, the J curve of learning is insane, but I love that. And the crews are amazing. So working on site with certain peoples and the rest of it, that's been ace. So yeah, and I have done, a whole stairs and landing job. That wasn't solo. That was actually with the handyman guy again, but he brought me on for the painting decorating. So I'll take that because I basically did all that. And yeah, the client absolutely loved it. It was great. It was going from light to very dark as well. So it was a lot of test of skill.
Yeah.
And yeah, excitingly, that was great. So onwards.
Yeah, like you say, you're not saying you're the best decorator in the world, but equally, it's impressive how you've got up to speed so quick. And I spoke to another guest, Martin Reynolds, who, is doing so well. But he changed career late on. I spoke to another guy who was a postie and he changed careers. And it just shows you, if you're really passionate about it and you're focused and you're willing to learn, you can pick it up relatively quickly. But then there's certain people, like I had some subbies in the past who worked with me for years and still couldn't paint, but they were good subbies, like prepping and doing all the bits and bobs I didn't want to do. So I think certain people don't have perhaps the ability, but other people do. But it's it's interesting, and that's great. You're sort of up to speed in such a short space. In terms of spraying, what do you like doing? Do you do all the woodwork or ceilings or kitchens, or what do you tend to spray?
Not kitchens. I'll be looking into that when I'm ready, and I'm not. But that is something that I'll be working towards and getting trained up with. Everything else, yes. So from on site, then you got all the just like the misting. Sorry.
Mist coats. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much doing the misting on new builds, so renovations and
Yes.
such. So that's been brilliant. That's great because you're really, it's all uniform. There's a lot of it. It's a whole lot of area, so you can have time to relax into
Mm,
that. And you
yeah.
can kind of play around with your techno. I've been trained, to a point, like well trained,
Mm,
but experience speaks, right? So I'm taking that training and I'm using that as best I can, and it's decent. It's good. I did all right, so I'm real happy with it. I don't think these people would have me if I wasn't doing well.
no, that's right.
So yeah, but with area like that, it gives you a good opportunity to just kind of relax into everything. I have done one, two, and a bunch of doors. So more high-end cabinets, media units kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've been so lucky. Well, not lucky because I don't believe in luck. I believe in being fortunate because you create your scenarios.
Yes, you do.
They're not fluke. And I'm just going to say this for one thing here because the, to say it's luck is to negate all the hard work that you've been putting in the background in order to do the things you're doing. So that's
Yeah,
definitely
100%.
on my well-being side is, be careful with certain words. That's one of them. But so I'm very fortunate for sure for the opportunities that I've had and the people to see that they're willing to put me on the line, like almost straight up. Like I'm really surprised by that. And so I've, had to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Not too much pressure, but I've gone for it. So yeah, media units. So they're like installed a whole bunch of doors in a new renovation. So that was brilliant. I worked on, oh man, check this, on a palace of a house. It was in Rutland Water. So it was like £8 million. This place was stunning. The doors, everything shiny, everything shiny.
Yeah.
Like, you know, uh, very 10 Downing Street special. Like every door in there is just stunning. So I did their kind of banquet hall, like apex roof. I just said yes to it because it was
Yeah.
my partner's cousin who has a building firm that way. So yeah, he got wind of me doing some things and saw some stuff on social media, and he's like, "Oh, cool. Would you kind of give us a hand?" I was,
What's
definitely.
interesting is like, again, you coming into it new, you can have painters and decorators been doing it for decades, but not learn any new skills. Whereas you've come in fresh and just seen what's available, how you can potentially speed jobs up, how you can create better finishes. Um, so you can be further ahead than a lot of other people, but just tend to do the same kind of stuff, you know? I'm probably talking about myself here because I don't spray. And if I
It's
was,
another tool, right?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. And, like with being so busy with brush wizards, like if I wasn't, if I was flat out decorating, I would definitely look at spraying because it just makes sense to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know there's not a question on the back of that, but again, I've been sort of I resonate with it's just another tool. It's a great tool because it gets a lot done in a
Mm,
short space of time. It can be a stressful tool because it's clearly different to brush and roll and what have you.
yeah.
But as far as picking up skills, new skills, man, do all the things that you're crap at. Like, you're not supposed to be good at everything.
No.
So give things a go and it keeps you kind of fresh and excited and also keeps you humble because again, if you can't do it, somebody else can or will,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. I see it personally. I see a lot of love in this industry. You get any like naysayers in everything, but like this industry, it's so kind of raw, and that is kind of fun. Um, I don't know. There's a lot of well-being side that I would prefer you ask questions on actually before I kind of dive down rabbit holes. But yeah, I think as far as the actual sprayer goes, it's great for what it's great for. At the same time, they cost a lot and they're heavy.
Yeah. My son's been doing bits and bobs with me, and he was, obviously goes on TikTok, and he's like, "We're doing this ceiling, 10 liters. We're chucking on this ceiling, a massive open plan area." And he's like, "Dad, why aren't you spraying it?" He goes, "God, I'd be spraying it all day long." And I said, "Well, maybe we'll get you into it, potentially going to be working with a local firm. But he's been working. Oh, that's what I meant to say. When you were talking about your job and the pressures and the emails and all the rest of it, it just reminded me of him doing a temp job in a warehouse and the deadlines, and you got to pick and pack it and all the rest of it. You can't really talk to anybody because you've got to focus so much. It's sort of very much a pressured job. And he works with me and he's like, "Oh, I love it, Dad. It's so much more laid back." And it's kind of like running your own business does come with a lot. You know, you've got a quote, invoice, marketing, all the rest of it. But it's interesting to hear from your point of view with working for a company and the pressures that come with it. And you've kind of come out of that doing decorating, feeling less stress from it all.
Absolutely. Like in comparison,
Mm.
yeah, it's a crevasse of difference for sure. But at the same time, doesn't make things easy. Again, if it's easy, you're probably on the wrong path.
But yeah, I just think like you know, I hear a lot in the community, and it can be difficult and pressured and getting work in and running it all. But I wonder how many people have actually been in jobs and the pressures that come with it, because, you know, a few of my friends work for companies where, yes, it's a 9 to 5 on paper, but it's still really not a 9 to 5. They're still doing emails on an evening and, you know, it doesn't kind of stop. So I think sometimes people can have an illusion that, oh, if I just do a 9 to 5, I can forget about it. But it's not always the case with jobs, is it?
No, it's kind of strange. There's pros and cons for everything, clearly.
Mm,
However, it's a different kind of set of stresses. We, as people, generally speaking, are not designed to sit in a square box tapping on keys all the time. It's just not what we're like created for, designed for necessarily. So to do stuff and use the body will have its absolute advantages. Yet for those people who do have their own business and do their own marketing and quotes, they'll say, look, mate, I'm still answering those emails. I'm still talking to people. I'm still working, blah,
mm,
blah, and on the weekends. And absolutely, totally get it. And I've joined people's on doing the same thing. But there's a completely, for anyone who's been in it for a while, which is going to be most people seeing this, it's so easy to take for granted, even after like a few months maybe, of the good stuff and why you've done it. I'd say, man, scribble it down and remember why you did that.
yeah, yeah,
Because the stresses that you don't have is this pressure on pressure. If you do, it's your thing and you can sort it.
yeah,
Talk to someone about stuff, but it's you that gets to sort that. In a scenario where someone's telling you what to do all the freaking time, no
yeah,
matter what level you're at,
yeah,
I was at a good level, then it's yeah, urgency culture is a lot in that
mm,
other side of things, and it's this, and I think it's needless because we don't know how to look after ourselves, and the world is going in a strange direction. I can't like it, but I like chaos. Um, uh, but it means that to try and like perform your best in a scenario that's trying to take 1,000 pieces of you and then ask you to do a whole ton more,
yeah,
it affects you differently than just getting down and dirty and, you know, lining your ducks up in a row and just making sure you do stuff. It's a different scenario that
yeah,
you can do. That is a whole, it's a different thing. I've been doing it for a
yeah.
long time. So yeah.
Because I I left school and went into office work and worked for like TK Maxx, Hilton Hotels, and done that for a good few years. But I'd always done a bit on the side, painting at home and helping my dad out and stuff. But then I done this Hilton job, and that was the time I was like, this is just depressing me. Like, it was mind-numbingly boring for a start. It was like a data analyst or something or other. There'd be so many hours in the day where I wouldn't have much to do, but you got to stay there till 5. My boss was sitting behind me, so I couldn't play solitaire on the, computer. And then the final straw was she got her little assistant one day. I was young, and I've probably been out, had a few beers. I'm in unshaven, and a little assistant said, "Oh, the boss is not happy with you. You haven't had a shave today." And I was like, do I want this shit? Do you know what I mean? You were just scrutinized, and that was it. I was just like, I've got to get out of it. I'm going to try decorating. And
How long were you there for at Hilton? And what I'm saying is, well, how long are you in a scenario? Because it can take people different lengths of time. Yeah, to get out of that.
yeah, I mean, Hilton, I was probably a year and a half, 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Interesting.
that I was at TK Maxx. That was a good company, actually. It was when it first come over here, pretty much. I only had a few stores, and I was doing importing. But that was good. It was a young crowd, and my boss was Irish. We were just in the pub most of the time, so it was a good little number. But yeah, I just decided to make a change, and I literally went out in I had an XR2, got a load of stuff from
Yes.
B&Q, tucked it in carrier bags, put an ad in the paper, and got my first job lining a toilet, and I didn't know what I was bloody doing. I don't know how I got paid for it. But a few years later, I've done a good career out of it. Um, Wellness stuff, yeah. That's what brought me onto you. Hearing about, um, I think online I saw you and we had a quick chat. How does that fit into your current kind of job and what you do? Do you do it separately, like on an evening, or how does it work?
Yeah. So let's give a tiny bit of background. Yeah. So again, like I said before, I was working with young people a lot. So do I skip this bit? No, it's quite important, but it's a little kooky, so bear with. I had some sort of weird life experience, which I still don't really understand. Right.
Go
And
on.
so I've talked to a
Sounds
lot of people
interesting.
about this, and there's some real weird cliches and stuff, and I cannot stand the whole words are bad, but experiences are experiences. So this certain experience then just, oh man, it meant I dropped what I considered at the time sort of like bad habits, but kind of like overnight. It was really bizarre. And I was encouraged, appointed, or suddenly interested in really properly getting into more kind of metaphysical and esoteric information. And all that really is the kind of stuff which you've always found interesting, but weren't allowed to touch because everyone thought it was like rubbish or a bit sort of like woo or a bit this, that, and the other. And I just found myself suddenly going, oh, what's that? What's that? What's meditation? What's this? What's that? And that has not stopped since that day. I
Hmm.
kid you not. And it's just it's bonkers. Anyway, so I've got in touch with a lot of people, like as close to sources I could kind of get it. So authors of books I was reading, and I'll just go hunt people down. And most people say, yeah, do you want to chat? And I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah, if that's anything people take from this, just knock on doors.
Yeah.
Life's for living. Look, all this information over like a bunch of years, and I found wasn't being used to support people in schools or colleges or homes most of the time because we're not taught any like how to actually know what we are. Like it's the last thing anyone wants us to actually do is, I don't know yourself.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I created a project called LifeWise Wellbeing. Well, actually, LifeWise just on its own. Folded that into a project of a place that I was working at, and it had like brilliant results, and people were like, wow, this is great. Like, anyway, the results were kind of bonkers from some of it. I thought I was in trouble actually with Adam Brooks Hospital for a real good and quick turnaround of a young lady who'd been on like meds, and oh my, she was a mess, and she was amazing. And after like a few sessions of working with her, then there's like this huge turnaround, and not for the first time, but hers was just a bit like right. And then I got a call from Adam Brooks Hospital. I thought I was in trouble because it's like, oh my gosh. But it was this doctor who was into kind of Vedic, so Eastern medicine, who's actually trained that way, came over to the West, over to here, and then was trained in Western medicine, and then was working with Addenbrooke, so, you know, big famous hospital in Cambridge. And we talked for about 2 hours on what is health. This young lady in particular, she's like, "What are you doing?" Like, we've been, you know, working with her for 3 years, and she's with 2 other hospitals, and it was just like, I don't think people get it. As in, what is health and well-being, like, genuinely, what's been missing from us, what we could really do with. So yeah, this project, just, I guess, supported a lot of people. And then there was a CEO change from my old place. So the great one went, a bit of an arse came in, and it just meant I knew the moment I met this person that the gig was up. And we've been running this place for 10 years, and it was epic. And I'm not bitter, because it has created good catalyst for other things, which is great. But I just knew that number was up. And so then I took LifeWise as a project to do my own thing out. So went self-employed. And so I work with people one-to-one coaching, and I call it like a holistic, it's like the whole person.
Yeah.
There's lots to us.
Yeah.
So that kind of approach, that's one-to-one. I do workshops for individuals all the way to organizations. That could be schools, that could be corporate. I don't do a lot of corporate, to be honest, but some of us. But schools and staff groups and things like that, that's really cool for that. And also, I did this to prove myself wrong, but then I got trained up in it, energy healing. Because I was like, I don't know. Again, I met this whole thing with a very straight kind of, either it works or it doesn't. Does it work for me? I'm just some bloke, just like anybody else. So can anyone do this kind of stuff? And so I went and watched and asked and saw something happen. And I was like, what the heck was that? I just saw something just get better right in front of my eyes. It wasn't good to start with. And I was like, I go, what's going on there? How's that work? Where do you get trained? And then all the kind of stars aligned at that point, and I got trained up. So I've been trained in quantum touch energy healing since 2018, and I've worked on hundreds of people.
Yeah. How does that work? Like, kind of like Reiki, or?
Interesting. Everyone says that, and Reiki is the kind of common thing, which is great. Reiki, there's a lot of symbols and stuff, and you're calling on things. This you don't. And this is what I love. This, and you can take the label quantum touch out of it. What it does mean is, can someone be a conduit for positive energies to affect somebody else in a positive way that they get a good result? And the answer is, mate, all the time. A conversation will do that. A smile, a hug, like that's healing, right?
Yeah.
And so how energy healing works, no matter what its label is that don't think you're the person, because you're not. You're like a straw. Something's coming through you and you're delivering that someplace else. So you're a conduit. And then you could say, hold on, what's coming from where to affect that person? I get it. It's coming, something's happening to the person. Like, I don't know, they call them the healer. Or you're not. You're the healer, because your body does the business. Yes. So all I do is I'm seemingly pretty good at funneling that. Those energies. That's a probably better way of putting it. Now, what the real question should be is how's that work? Like, energy from what? And then there's your Pantera's box open, and it's a wonderful world, actually, when you know what it's made of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where to start, Joff. I mean, you know, it's like, what was your moment? I was reading up a bit about you where everything changed for you. There was was there a particular moment?
Well, kind of a couple. It was a car crash that was like off the chain. I should, most people would come out with at least a broken leg or something, but this, I don't know, I flipped and rolled, and man, yeah, it was messy. So I'm so fortunate, man. Seriously. And this actually happened, right? So I'm up, I don't know how many times it rolled. I don't know. It's all a bit of a blur, but I don't know. I'm going to count about 4 or 5, and it was spinning and flapping around. So I was upside down in the car with my bum on the seatbelt, still upside down, thinking to myself, damn, seatbelts are good. Like, they're really good.
Put your
And
seatbelts on.
yeah, yeah, good. Put your seatbelt on. Oh, man, that's a no brainer. Better than being a ping pong ball in a shoebox, that's for sure. So,
Yeah.
I looked around as I'm upside down thinking, oh, crikey. And like everything was just flat. And I'm looking around, I can't really see anything. And then this I don't get my head around. The car just kind of corrected itself and then boom, landed back on its wheels. And I'm like, right. Now I was on an incline and I had stopped and I was on an incline. Not much,
Yeah.
but it was enough. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll put this just in the weird box. So yeah, I'm like, well, got to get out. So door's not opening, so I kick the door open, and my boss is this is my boss's car. So I was doing delivery car parts, dropping off like car parts, delivery driving. Last job of the day, borrowed the boss's like Citroen Zara, piece of crap that was. But yeah, it took me. I thought I was going into a tree. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. Country lanes, see you later. But anyway, so yeah, I opened up the door. I picked up my boss's car, and I'm like swearing like a trooper, like, ah. And then I'm like, dude, you can swear, you can walk, you can talk, you're picking up your boss's, like, look at that thing was squished except for where I was. I'm like, shoot, do you know what? Yeah, it's mad. Anyways, I picked up my boss's business cards, all of these, because I didn't want to have that poor guy implemented, right? And, wrong word. Anyway, and I looked up and this guy who's far, far away, and he's seen this and he's like, ooh. So I said, mate, can I borrow your phone, man? I need to phone my boss and just sort this out. And so, I don't know, he comes, picks us up. It's just all a bit weird. And like, everyone was lovely. It just felt like a posh Alton Towers ride. I don't mean to take that like too lightly, but these things can happen like that sometimes. I know people who aren't here who I wish they were, who've had far less than that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to belittle things, but at the same time, you've got to take some of the weirder things with it. And so yeah, I don't know. I just drove home. I drove a mate home that like afternoon. I was just like, it wasn't my car, it wasn't my insurance, and all that sort of thing. So it was a weirdly perfect scenario or situation to have that experience. And then that spurred me into, Joff, like, life's fun and I've been very good at doing that, but it's also for sharing and helping. So get sharing and helping. That's how I took that as a bit of a calling card, and I've always resonated with young people. So
Have you
that springboard that
have
industry.
you worked with any painters and decorators?
Uh, yes, I have. Not many, because I've only been into this industry like 9 months. But oh my gosh, a couple of months in, mate, I was just made very aware of just how brittle some of the situation is with
What's
like mental
your
health.
observations? Obviously, mental health in trades is very, very high, and suicide rates. What's your observations as to why that is? With you, with all we've spoken about working for a company and the pressures, and like you seeing relative freedom in working for yourself. What I know it's not going to be one thing, but what do you what do you see?
All right, I'll say like one main one, because like you said, there's definitely a few, right? But um, the environments that we're kind of brought up in and what we're told, we end up kind of believing.
Yes.
The findings have been that we have certain cuts about us, things that we like, things that we're naturally good at. Are you kind of like manual? Do you learn by someone showing you, and then you're like, oh, cool, okay, cool. Is that person good at what they're showing you? That really helps. And then you can repeat until you go, yeah, I'm good, and you can add and that sort of thing. Or are you kind of more clerical? Are you supportive? Those sorts of things help now then. as we're growing up, it really helps to have people who can spot certain things about you in order to light a little spark, tell you that you're good enough, um, be broad enough in at least understanding some of the potential and some of the industries that might be good for you, and not belittle things by the obvious sentence that came from teachers, still does from what I do know, but definitely my day, or you don't end up doing that, otherwise you will end up on a building site. It's like,
Yeah.
you what, mate? Like, okay, cool. All right, let's take that. Because then what that kind of does, it almost adds like a pirate thing to me. I'm like, yeah, cool. That's like well, fine. Like, but let's be honest, what they're doing is belittling something in order to get you to do something else,
Yes.
which actually on the long run doesn't work out for you. Right. Now, working on site, I know people who are minted. I'm sure you do. And clearly it's not about the money. That does help, clearly. But you're talking about, or we're talking about, a kind of a scenario that you take with you through the years that has built you up, that's given you confidence, it's given you opportunities, it's made you feel that you're good enough. Now, this is what I believe to be the case, is that you got a lot of pirate type folk that I love, but it's quite raw, that I can pretty much guarantee that it's home, school, some sort of organisation has knocked you down nearly every single place. So at some point you've gone, basically sod it, and you've fallen into paint and decorating because Doodah does it, blah 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 does it, whatever. It looks easy, and there's no harm in that, because to be honest, boxing looks easy. All you could do is get punched or punch people. But I'm sure there's some trappings there. um, um,
Yeah.
I like my teeth. So yeah, I think it's those attitudes that have carried on through for such a long time that we've put armor on ourselves, and we call that kind of geezerdom or all sorts of stuff. And it's not strong enough to deal with all of what you've unfortunately missed out on. So what do? There are definitely ways out of this. One's to spot it, and two's to start filling those gaps. Then it's how, who with, who do I align with, that kind of stuff. But that is the main thing that I've seen on a long-term basis that has knackered not just this industry, but this industry is more raw to see it.
So you, in essence, it's like, we're the sum of supposedly our closest friends or peers or however we've been brought up, and we create this belief about ourselves. And potentially as a youngster, we believed we weren't good enough to do X, Y, Z. We fell into painting and decorating, which was frowned upon potentially from our teachers or peers, that kind of stuff. So you get to an adulthood and you've still got that belief about yourself you had when you were a child, but it's not necessarily about the painting and decorating itself. It's just about how you feel about yourself.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And there clearly are other factors, but
Yeah.
that is the most absolutely glaring one. I know people who spraying away and they are doing very well for themselves, but they wear a life of shit.
Yeah. Because it's interesting, like, we've had loads of conversations in Brush Wizards, 5 years I've been running it now, and how many people still believe they're not good enough at their job. So I would ask someone, when was the last time someone complained about your work? And they'd be like, I can't remember. So again, that summarizes it. And also starting a new job on a Sunday night, anxiety, that feeling of not being good enough, going into a new job when they've been painting 20 years or 10 years or 5, and they're bloody brilliant. It's sad, but what our brains trick us to believe.
I think what's great about this, because you're right, and it's sad, but that's an old chapter.
Yes.
Right. So what you do is spot it And again, like, and the rest is like, what can I do about it? All of this is turnaroundable
Yes.
because on the whole, on the big, like, macro scale, all people have been taught to be of what you actually are.
Mm.
And just the energy healing alone will shut anyone's flipping scenarios up.
Mm.
Like, just that one thing. And that's okay. It is what it is, but it's the one that made me go, what? There's a lot out there. Trust me. If you're thinking it's like a little bit, listen to the telepathy tapes, for example, on Spotify, because that will just blow your mind.
Mm.
That's autism and how people are talking to each other and this, that, and the other. It's just, it's another level. But what I'm saying is that we are an iota of what we actually are and can be. And I know that fact. Doesn't mean that everyone needs to become kind of your full potential, because I don't think most people could actually handle it. But what you could do is with, brushing up on a few things that will definitely help you 500%.
It's interesting as well. Like, I love speaking to people, and one guy in particular, I know he runs a firm. He's got 2 guys full time working for him. He goes out, he still does a bit now and again, but he networks, he gets the jobs in, he runs his company efficiently, and he does really well out of it financially. But there's so many people that don't believe that's possible. They say they've tried someone in the past, they've not been so good, been let down. But if you get the right people and the right clients, it goes back to sort of like being stressed, working on your own, doing all the marketing. It is hard work. And over years, it does get on top of you potentially if you don't run your business correctly. But it's all, again, about belief, isn't it? If you believe you can run a company with 2 guys, 4 guys, you can bring the work in, you're top notch with your quotes, your efficiency, you got all the correct equipment. There's no reason why you can't create it, but most people stay stuck, kind of just plodding along by themselves. And that's also a belief, isn't it?
Yeah, belief's a strange one. And I agree with you, and it's very, 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 very important, but it's just a springboard to knowing belief.
Yeah.
It should be a very small springboard, but essential to have. When actually the rest of it is about you. I call it personal refinement because it's like people go, what can I do? Like everything, change absolutely everything, but do it little by little, get your results, have fun with the world,
Mm.
and then you watch what happens. And then like little by little by little, this is how I work with people. You get your own results. You're like, oh, actually, this is working out. Blah blah's talking to me again. That's actually sorted out. So you start creating yourself as a bit of a magnet.
Mm.
And so you're putting out, you're receiving. So this is all the things that you can't see. I mean, we can't see infrared without special devices, but it exists, and that's kind of obvious. Right, cool. So plenty of things exist that we can't see, including your magnetism. So with your energy that you brought on by will of the I can, and I'm going to do this. I don't quite know how yet, but I'm going to do this. Okay, cool. Now you're aligning yourself higher than what you were frequency wise, which you need to do. Otherwise you get the results here. No matter what you're doing, there'll still be here results. You could be earning tons and still be a miserable sod, which happens a lot. So when you raise that frequency, like a radio, anything, like a pitch, anything, you start attracting, no matter what you're doing, you can be the postie. So to the person who's the postie, go back and be a postie if you want.
Yeah.
As long as you're going back, or to whatever you're next doing, a level up, you're going to start attracting situations at that level.
So I've got a question for you, and I'm going to butt in slightly whilst it's on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
Yeah, I love all this. I love like Bob Proctor, paradigm shifts and raising your vibrations. Big problem is you can't see it,
Yes,
right?
you can.
Okay,
You
we'll
can
go
see
on to that in a minute.
you can see your results. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
results.
I shouldn't. But yeah, go on.
But kind of like, okay, I want to raise my vibration do X, Y, Z in my business. You may not see results for a while. What quick, not a quick win, that's the wrong thing. How do people start on this journey? Like what's something they can do tomorrow? And obviously it's got to be continuous. It can't be just a half hour, blower, raise your vibration. And
No, true.
how can someone get into it?
A good thing to do is okay, be the thing you want to be. So give more. You want to receive, learn to give. And then you give with like grace, essentially. You give because we all need each other. We're all linked. I don't let me go on a too esoteric level, but
We'll do
if you
another
could
one. We'll
see,
do another podcast.
by all means, we'll lose a bunch of people, but that's fine. If you could see a level above, as in with different lenses, you'd see that we are energetically connected.
Yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be picking up messages from certain people like, "Oh, I've got a call with my aunt," and then she suddenly rings
Right.
you or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, if you could see these connections, trust me, you'd be way more generous with your everything with heart because you can see it all happening. Now, this is the great thing: is that because you can't see it, you have to get your results right. And it's so simple. If you give a gift to someone for their birthday, who feels good?
The
Well,
thighs.
yeah, there you go. That's all the evidence you need. That's it. So then start there, start small, get your results. It's actually very simple. People go, "Oh, I can't, how am I going to do this?" Oh, I see. No, your expectations are like what you said before, Gary, is that you might not get your big results straight away. Well, of course not. You got to earn that. But you will get your results straight away because you've just changed your mind, have you not? So let's work there. Know the facts that you've just got a result, have you not? And then the person will recognize that and go, "Ah, cool, that's how I do that thing." Exactly. So crack on. But don't think it gets given to you. You do have to put the mileage in because weirdly, the human is the only being on this planet that, it's going to sound strange, but gets to work. Like, nothing else really does that. So we do things a certain way. We want to do that, no matter who for. We want to do that somehow. Funny that how it goes, isn't it? It's not about the money. Yeah,
it is so interesting. Like, I've done lots of coaching courses and stuff over the years and always tried to improve my business. And when I was doing, I did hypnotherapy. It was always like this guy I followed a lot. He was absolutely brilliant. He was like, give away all your best stuff. Just give it away. He said, be generous, give it away. It always comes back. And naturally, like, no, I can't give away your best stuff, but Christ, is he successful? Because
it's not easy. Yeah, sorry, I don't. Sorry, I've stopped.
Sorry, it broke up a little bit then.
No. Sorry, you said he's successful.
Oh, beyond belief.
Like, but again, like for me, there'll be cool. What is your version of success? Do you want like a bazillion followers and stuff like that? And it turns out that most of us come from the kind of ego. Like,
yeah,
it's fine. It's part and parcel of you being you here. It's just that when that runs away too much, you'll the ego's I don't know, it's a fun sidekick but it's a crappy master, or so part of the saying goes. We get to do that and we can test ourselves.
It's interesting. A couple of companies that support brush wizards, I know them very well. I've built up relationships. A few in particular, I won't mention names, but they just love what I'm doing. They love the county hubs I'm creating. We're sharing work, hopefully meeting up for socials like we did in Hertfordshire. They really support it. Whereas we've had one or two in the past that's so transactional. Yes, it's a business. People got to sell paintbrushes and rollers and paint or whatever else. But the ones that have left, Lisa and I have been so pleased because we just didn't enjoy working with them. And one in particular even like, oh, your review's not good enough. You haven't filmed it correctly. And I'm just like, I didn't create Brush Wizards for that. It was created with me and my anxieties in the past and feeling isolated in my job and not having anyone to talk to. That's how it was all started. And you didn't want to go away from that. And I don't want to go away from that. And it's been interesting to see the ones that really support what you're doing and others which are just like what your KPIs are and stuff. It's just, I just can't work on that basis.
Yeah, good for you. And I'd kind of say that now, this is a brilliant time. This is why I love these certain times in 2026 and over the last few years at minimum, is that there's an authenticity that's worth more than what other stuff people are bringing to the table. So
Yeah,
there's becoming more value in the connection with folk at a level, again, which you can't really see with your eyeballs, but you feel constantly. And what we're witnessing, I mean, just look around, is an absolute melting of actions that come from the so-called penny and KPIs, so key performance indexes first and foremost, as in I must survive. Mate, you are going to do nothing but battle, upset people and yourself along the way. But I'm doing it for my blah, 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 blah. Well, okay,
yeah,
you crack on.
yeah.
But you'll find that situation gets harder and harder and harder. That's what I mean by melting. It's not a wonderful melt.
I, I mean,
But it does mean that you can align yourself kind of
yeah,
differently if that's not your scene.
but it's interesting the companies that where like Little Green, for example, we done a warehouse tour and visit, and Dulux, it was like the Dulux dog's birthday party, so those kind of socials which you post where people see you meeting people and people getting together and the Hertfordshire get together, that gives so much more response than just doing a paint review. It's like that human connection. Gary V, I don't know if you follow him, but he says in the future, people are probably going to pay other people just to walk with them, because this whole online kind of sitting behind a PC or a mobile phone, it just doesn't mean anything, does it? And it, we're going
Do you know
down.
what? Just to say what he said, I know someone, and she's amazing, and who does what's called pause for thought, PAWS. So she walks with her dog with people, and she's brilliant, like talking with people. But she's doing great,
Yeah,
and that's just to say exactly what your friend said there, and I find that quite funny because exactly what it is. Yeah, it's turning into more of an obvious need for good connection with folk.
100%. I'm hoping, and it will, like our county hubs now, there's like 400 people in it. And just gradually people are starting to talk. We want to grow it. People are exchanging work. And hopefully they keep growing and people connect. Because that was one of the things I saw is like someone could be super busy, other people could be quiet, or they might have a dip for a few days. Well, when we grow it out massively, why not tap into the group and say, look, I've got 2 days. Anyone, even if you're doing a bit of labouring for a couple of days, some money is better than no money. And one guy actually left because some guy posted about paying X amount a day. And he said, oh, this other guy said, I was earning that back in 1990. So I sort of messaged and say, look, you're missing the point. He's giving someone an opportunity to work for a week. That might be the difference between paying your mortgage and not. No, not meaning to say don't work for £50 a day, but the point is it's helping each other out. And I can't, I just didn't get his point where he's like, oh, that's wages from 30 years ago. It could have just helped someone else. That was only a one offer.
Yeah, I think the thing is with that, then as soon as you create a platform, then you're open to everything. It's then,
Yeah,
I
of
guess,
course.
for you, it's the can you stand by your conviction by creating the thing that you have done. And then those other niggly bits along the way is
Yeah, you're
just
gonna
niggly
get
bits.
it.
And there's everyone, yeah, but you've created, and I love this because you've created a platform for people to learn about themselves via how they go about their business.
Yeah,
Because the guy's right. Maybe it was 1990 thing. And the other person maybe is going, actually, maybe I will bump that up a touch. Maybe I can't. And you're right. Maybe little Dave's going, yeah, but dude, like, that's all I need. And
yeah,
I would love to do that. And I want to get my foot. I'm still doing it now.
yeah,
You know, I'm not making a mint, like, by any means. I am probably on base level stuff, but I am learning from someone who really knows their beans, and that's worth more. As long as I can pay my way and do what I got to do,
definitely.
I know that I'm sowing the seeds of other stuff. So that's my angle. And so, yes, that's what I'm saying about the platforms that you create. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do laugh at most. I don't get much grief. I probably get loads
it's
of
all
grief
behind
now,
closed
but
doors.
there's like one of my friends done a review and
Gary.
someone post no, that was it. It was off a clip off a podcast, and some guy was like, "Oh, combined IQ of 8." So I was like, "Oh, thanks very much. That's very
That's
kind of you."
lovely.
But it was funny. It did make me chuckle. Joff, I could talk all night. We're almost hitting an hour.
Wow.
I'd love to talk again because there's some really interesting conversations, which from a hypnotherapy world, and I'd love to learn more from you. But what we will do, we'll speak again and connect you with some more brush wizards who might need some help.
Mate, yeah, happily I've got a pretty much open door. So whatever kind of like bits you want to put on here, is now, shall I just sort of give you like a website? Would that help?
Yeah,
Or do you want to do it a different way? Because we
I'm
didn't even
gonna I'm
discuss
gonna
this. So
press stop now. We'll chat after. I'll get all your links and then I'll put it in the
cool.
show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Okay, yeah, because I'm not, again, it's one of the things I'm actually quite rubbish at is putting all that, because I believe in that genuine, authentic setup who's actually resonating with what, because I guarantee I would not be for everyone at the same time. It would be for a bunch. So yeah, what I'm saying is I'm very reachable, open, and happy to have a chat, to see whether what I do kind of fits the person, in all honesty. And then if it's something clearly on a longer term basis, which is fine, then that's when you're talking about energy exchange. So in this days, it's, well, funds,
Yeah.
clearly.
Brilliant. Right, Joff. Thank you very much indeed.
Mate, thanks for having us, Gary. It's been wonderful. So yeah, happy to do it again. Should you wish me.
Absolutely. Take care, mate.
Be well.